everyone, we have a quick fix for your Monday blues with today's exciting startup stories. I'm Priya Sheth and you're with me on the Daily Dispatch. Now today's top stories include Antler, Amazon as well as Tata Digital. Well, headline number one, venture capital firm Antler is looking to build a portfolio of 100 startups in the next 2.5 years. The firm will work with startups for the first 12 months of operations to help them build in India for the world. Its vision is to stay with the startups in the first year of the founder's journey until it becomes a unicorn. Well, headline number two, as competition rises in the OTT space, Amazon has launched Prime Video channels in India. This will let Prime members access exclusive content from 8 subscription-based OTT apps. There will be a single billing mechanism for all the apps brought together under one roof. The Prime Video channels will launch starting September 24th. Well, headline number three, Tata Digital Super App is all set to be launched in early 2022. The app is a one-stop portal for hotel bookings, grocery shopping, electronics, among others. Now, a closed user base has begun beta testing for the app and it will be accessed by all employees in the phases over the next few months. Now, e-commerce payments made on the Super App will translate into loyalty points. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who's been in the food space and is seeing a lot of eating trends that are shaping up out there. We have with us Ankit Mehrotra from Dineout. Thank you very much, Ankit, for joining us today. I want to begin by asking you a little bit about the post-lockdown trends in the food space. Are more people eating out now?
Yeah, it's been, least to say, it's been an interesting sort of 18 months. We went from doing roaring business to a complete standstill, and then since then it's been slow to sort of bounce back. However, post the second wave, the last 2 months, especially mid-July onwards, August and now September, have been really sort of interesting, and it's been a great bounce back. And yes, people are starting to venture out a lot more. People are eating out a lot more. We see the same user who's probably dining out twice or thrice a week now, dining out twice or thrice a month, now dining out 5-6 times a month. So I think from our opinion, there are two factors that have sort of played out. One is obviously everyone's been sort of locked up for the last 18 odd months, and people are craving that sort of stepping out of their house environment. And second is obviously now a lot more people are vaccinated, restaurant staff is vaccinated, etc. Right? So these two factors I think are contributing to people dining out a lot more than what they were doing earlier.
Right. In terms of cities, what kind of traction have you seen? Which are the cities that have bounced back quicker than expected?
So as a Dineout operates in 20 cities, these include tier 1 and tier 2 cities. If I generally talk about the trend, right, while tier 1 cities have seen a good increment of approximately 20-25%, what has caught all of us by surprise is the increase in tier 2 cities. So when I talk about tier 2 cities, I mean cities like Agra, Indore, Ludhiana, Lucknow, etc. Right? And I think the one driving factor over there is the fact that a lot of people post the first wave have moved back. There's a lot of reverse migration that has happened. Now people are working out of their hometowns due to the work from home environment. However, they still want the same experience that they were getting in, Delhi, Bombay or Bangalore or wherever they were. So as a result of that, it's all been, we're seeing great, huge increase in transactions, huge increase in transaction values, huge increase in sort of everything in the tier 2 cities as well.
Right. When you look at the average transaction value, you did allude to it that it has gone up. So are there specific categories like luxury dining or regular, eat outs that are there? Where have you seen this kind of average transaction value or the average order value going up?
Sure. So what has what has happened post the pandemic is that people are now generally going out to fine dine restaurants or restaurants which are or good quality restaurants where restaurants which are taking a lot more care around hygiene, safety, etc. So that has actually contributed to the average transaction value increasing by nearly 20-25% across the board. And we have seen some we've actually seen, again, as I was saying, a very higher a higher increase in tier 2 cities, because typically over there the transaction value was, let's say, sub 2000, and now that has become nearly 2800. So just to put some numbers, right, a city like Delhi was seeing an average transaction value of approximately 2,200 rupees pre-pandemic, and now that's at around 2,800 rupees. Whereas a city like a Ludhiana or an Indore, which was seeing around 1,800 rupees pre-pandemic, is now at 2,600 rupees. So that's been the increase in the ATV across different cities.
Right. At Dineout, what kind of transactions are you seeing in terms of your growth strategy? What has the growth been like at Dineout? If you could give us some perspective.
Sure. And again, I would say the last 12, 18 to 18 months have been sort of a complete roller coaster with insane lows, and now we're seeing insane highs. Right. So we went, and this is a trend that I was would be interesting to sort of know. So we were last April, like last March, right at the beginning of the pandemic, we went to complete zero, because it had never happened that restaurants had shut down completely in the history of of the world. Not even in World War I, World War II did a situation like this happen. So it was complete zero. And then September, so the period from April, May, June, July 20 was absolutely zero. And then sort of August 20 is when things started to play out. And it took us from, I would say, phase one unlock started from, let's say, August 20. Then it took us nearly 6 months. So from January 21 to get back to sort of a pre-pandemic sort of a level. And then again, we had the wave 2, and we again went down to zero. However, the great thing is that after the unlock phase 2, after wave 2 that happened, in just 3 months, we are much higher than a pre-pandemic level. So, for example, the month of September for Dineout is going to be nearly 1.8x of our pre-pandemic numbers. Because again, as I said, people are dining out with a vengeance. There's this huge phase of revenge consumption that's happening. People have a lot of disposable income, in their house. People are not spending as much on traveling or cinemas, etc. So I think dining out gives people that sense of normalcy back to a pre-pandemic level, and that is something that a lot of people are capitalizing upon.
Right, Ankit, I also want to talk to you about what kind of category expansion you're looking at and diversification. So if you could run us through what you have in store at Dineout.
Absolutely. So we've had a busy, obviously, unprecedented 12 months. But one of the things that we did over the last year was we acquired this company called SteppinOut, which was an events company. Because our hypothesis was that once things go back to normal, there's going to be this wave of people looking to go out and do and experience different things. And from that perspective, we are betting heavily in the event space. We've done a lot of events in terms of inside restaurants at such as comedy nights, where we're partnering with some of the largest and the best comedians across India to give people a live experience. However, now with people being a lot more vaccinated, a lot more people being vaccinated, the weather improving, we're also actually doing a lot of concerts. So we have a 10-city tour coming up with Divine, who's the rapper from Gully Boy. We have a 10-city tour with Anuv Jain. So our whole thing is that people are looking to get out of the house, and people want to try newer and different things. And from that perspective, we are betting very heavily on this entire events as a category to sort of take off over the next sort of 10 to 12 months. In fact, shorter, like 6 to 12 months.
Right. And the final question, as far as revenue growth is concerned, what can we expect at the end of FY22?
So FY22, we are going to be higher than our pre-pandemic FY20. So FY21 for us was a sort of a washout. But FY22 is going to be better, higher than FY20. And that for us has obviously been, from our perspective, it would have been a remarkable turnaround story that we went from, our high to absolute zero. And then we're back higher than our FY20 numbers.
All right. On that note, thank you very much, Ankit, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for your time. Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and have a lovely day.